Just thinking about it. Just thinking about it. There we go. Hey!
There we go.
And we're live. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 142, your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
Right. And I'm Steve.
Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday evening. If you've never seen the show before, this is our once weekly live show. We drink beer, we talk tech, and usually end with a little bit of Star Trek. Let's see. We do drink beer on the show, although it is a family-friendly show in both language and content. If you are drinking along with us, alcoholic or not, let us know in the chat early in the show, and we will give some early show shout-outs. And if you have a super chat, all of those will be read on the air, assuming they are appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going, everyone? Steve?
Yes.
Man, it's been a long time since I've seen you.
I know. Well, we skipped a week for me.
Yeah.
So it's been a month and a week.
Yeah.
I finally got to come back on the show.
So I counted it up the other day. This is our 22nd remote show.
Wow. Well,
that's how long quarantine has been.
Yeah, I know. Well,
22 weeks.
We got it down packed pretty good. I mean,
yeah.
There was a few hiccups at the beginning, but works pretty good now.
Yeah. You're saying Steve in the echo chamber.
Echo chamber?
I wasn't hearing any echo.
I don't hear an echo.
All right. Well, let me try plugging my headphones in.
Yep.
See if that'll help. I was trying to avoid the headphone game today, so I was tired of it, but we'll see what happens. All right. Oh, I need a beer. Do I need a beer? Do you want to go first, or should I?
Well, apparently I don't want to wait until my echo is gone. I want validation that I'm no longer echoing.
Okay. Well, you sound great in my headphones.
Okay.
So,
somebody tell me if there's echo going on still.
Yeah. It says echoing on this end. Huge echo in audio. Huh.
I want validation that I'm no longer echoing.
Okay. I think we're good.
Is it gone now?
Yeah, it's gone now because I just previewed the YouTube audio. So, yep, fixed. Okay. So I was trying to go with a sound bar. We tried to do it we tried to check it before the show.
Now I can't hear Jeff.
What?
Yeah, that was weird. I can't hear you. I lost you now.
Are you sure? Oh, I know what happened. Stupid, no, that's still capturing. What the heck? All right, I think we're gonna go to.
I don't know if the people on the stream can hear you.
Yeah, stream can hear me.
Me?
So I
lost audio.
One sec.
I think I lost audio. I don't know.
Hold on.
We fixed it for everyone but me.
Yeah. Okay, can you hear me now, Steve?
I don't know.
That's certainly weird.
1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah. We hear us both. I can hear you. I can hear both of you. Somebody's saying they can hear both of us.
Okay.
But I can't hear Jeff.
I'm guessing it's a Zoom issue.
I didn't mute him on Zoom or anything like that, did I?
Let's try this. Hold on.
Yeah, that's the player.
Okay, can you hear me now?
My audio's set up okay. Me unmute.
Steve?
Can't hear you.
Interesting.
I don't know. As soon as you plug something in.
Weird.
You two participants.
Can you hear me now?
No. Here, I invited you. No. I don't know what to do, man. I can't hear you.
Yeah. Technical difficulties.
I'll leave the Zoom meeting and come back. How's that? We'll try that.
It's exactly what I was going to suggest. I was trying to
I'll be right back.
Spoon, by the way, I blame you. This is all your fault. This is completely all your fault. You set me up. For what it's worth, I've had audio issues in Zoom changing audio inputs, but the input in Zoom didn't change. That's the funny thing. And all I did was plug into the output device that was already outputting to me. So, yeah, check your side, Steve. The old turn it off and on again. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Okay, I can.
Okay, are you there?
Now?
Are you there?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Yay!
There we go. Yay!
Hey, we're back.
I don't know what that was weird. I guess Zoom just freaked out or something.
Oh, okay. We're back.
We're back. Okay, we got it all taken care of.
Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 142. Your once weekly live show, the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
Yeah.
And we're back.
All
right. Now I really need a beer.
Yes, we do.
As I was saying.
Why don't you? Here, I'll do mine. I'll do mine. You can.
Yeah, you go for it.
All right. So first, I got a hazy IPA from Level. Level, they do like the computer themed or game themed, retro game themed beers a lot. This is A Winner Is You, which is in reference to the famous pro wrestling from Nintendo.
Yep.
Which I had that game. I loved that game. This one called A Mindless Philosopher. It's a fruited gosé from Sasquatch. So it doesn't say what fruit. It just says fruited.
Yeah.
They probably just took leftover fruit scrappings and dumped it in the beer. So I expect this to not taste very good.
Little strawberry, pear, peach
who
puree.
Knows? It's just fruited. It was fruit.
Whatever was left from the baby food.
Yeah. And this I got a series of tubes. So it kind of looks like the old Windows screensaver.
Pretty sure Al Gore had a hand in that one.
Yeah, I think he did. This is cryo hopped New England style IPA.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. I've got I grabbed two out of the fridge, and we'll see if I make it to a third. But I figured I wanted to go with a little Christmas in July, so I've got a Lewitt German Winter Strong Ale with vanilla and cardamom. It's a 9%, 30 IBU. And Lewitt is, where are they at? It's Vancouver.
Yeah, they're in Vancouver.
I can never remember Lewitt. There's like 2 or 3 breweries that are like in the area. I can never.
Well, there's Lewitt, there's Heathen, and then there's another one that's over there in Vancouver that's fairly new.
Yeah. I can't remember. Yeah. And then I've got one that I got in the package from Jason from Free State Beer. It's Yakamaniac IPA. So.
Okay. All right. Yakamaniac?
Yeah. Yakamaniac.
All right.
Where's the ABV on this one? Says it has a lot of hops, although the last Free State that said had a flavor profile on it was completely wrong.
Yeah, I know.
It was like not even close. This says it's 7.5%.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if you can see this.
I can, yeah.
Yeah. So their ABV chart is just a scale with an X on it, and it's not anywhere close to exact.
Okay. So they're just guessing at this point?
Yeah, so it's like, it's about 7%, 7 trending 8.
They forgot to take the gravity at the beginning. They're like, we're just going to guess.
It'll
be close enough.
We're just spitballing at this point.
Well, they'll experiment by just drinking and see how fast they get drunk. They're like, this feels like a 9%. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm gonna crack one open. Steve, you do the same.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna do the Mindless Philosopher first because I don't really have a lot of high hopes for it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Yakamaniac. And that's a hot pour or a hot hot can.
Warm.
That's just. And the can also bent in shipping. There we go. Managed to get it open. It bent right alongside the tab, so it didn't want to crack.
It smells like a gosé. I don't smell the fruited part though.
It looks pretty.
Yeah, it's not horrible. I can see why they call it fruited because I can't distinguish what fruit is in here. Yeah. It's just kind of tart a little bit.
It's fruitish.
It's fruitish. Yeah, I still don't know what kind of fruit is in here.
So this says Yakamaniac's hop-obsessed fusion of Centennial and Citra hops conjures flavors and aromas of tropical fruit and citrus in a lightly hazy, golden-hued IPA. Okay, I see that.
I get that. I get that in the visual. Yeah,
it smells a little bit hazy. You got a little pungent on the nose. You know, I said this in my review because I reviewed a Free State beer on I think my last episode, Craft Computing show. Free State, the last beer that I reviewed from them said a tropical, a blast of tropical hops or something like that.
Yeah.
And I said, what is tropical to you? Santa Fe? San Antonio?
It's
this is more South Texas than it is like Caribbean. And
Albuquerque sidewalk, is that what
and that's where we are again.
Yeah.
This is like a grassy dank hop. There ain't no citrus in here. And yet again it's Centennial and Citra hops conjures flavors and aromas of tropical fruit and citrus. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, there are some beers that do have like a tropical flavor from the different tropical type hops, and they may just be like throwing, oh, here's some Citra in there, so there's some tropical hops in there, but then they throw some like cheap grassy like CTZ or something in there, some really, really big bittering hops in there that just...
You know what this tastes like? This tastes like Block 15.
Oh, yeah.
This is a very dank Block 15 beer.
Okay.
So if you've ever had something Block 15, especially in their... they have a series of beers. They have their hemp beers, and they've got a couple others. That's what this is. This is a dank IPA.
Okay.
So
sometimes I like those, sometimes I don't. I've had one that was just so dank I had a hard time finishing it. It was just not good.
And apparently I forgot to change the Lawrence Systems background. So you are Lawrence Systems as of now, but hey, check this out.
Oh, hey, all right. Nice.
Check
there
this
it
out.
is.
I actually made you one, so I have a Polo Diablo popping up here in just a second.
Oh, nice. I get my own frame. Let's see.
Yep.
Lawrence Systems.
Should be up there in just a second.
All right, we'll wait. I'll see what happens.
Well, while we're waiting, let's go ahead and jump into our first story.
Sure.
So is there a new co-host requirement to wear the Support Craft shirt? Because Tom did last week, too.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not so vain that I'm going to require every guest to wear it.
Well, this is the first show that I had since I had the shirt, so I thought I would wear it. Right. I try to mix it up quite a bit with my t-shirts. Mm-hmm. I think next time I'm on, I'll find the oldest, rattiest t-shirt I have and just wear that.
There it is. There's El Polo Diablo.
There it is. There it is.
The glorious Elcar Swan.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start it out. So we've all heard of the low-cost VPNs, and I've warned a number of times about low-cost VPNs, and not only low-cost VPNs, but low-cost services in general.
Services, yes, and just in general. You always get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for, and especially with service providers,
mm-hmm.
if the product is free, you are the product.
Yes.
And in the case of like low-cost VPNs or zero-cost VPNs, that's exactly it too. No one is going to spin up a VPN architecture and an infrastructure required for it and make it free.
Yeah.
There's so much cost involved in that, you have to recoup the money somewhere. Mm-hmm. And it's not from users using your service for free. Well, UFO is a low-cost VPN provider.
Yeah.
And one of their hallmarks is we're a no-log VPN provider. We don't log any connections, no authentications, nothing. And it's in their terms of service. It's in all of their literature. Well, that's interesting because they just leaked 1.2 terabytes of user logs.
This is where we need that Maury Povich meme right here. Oops has determined that that's a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is not just UFO VPN. This was, 7 different providers?
Yeah, because these smaller VPNs, they tend to piggyback onto a bigger VPN structure.
Right.
So there wasn't just UFO. It was a lot of other smaller VPNs that also got their stuff leaked.
Right.
I personally did not recognize any of them. In fact, I never even heard of UFO VPN until now.
I've heard of UFO VPN. In fact, I believe they reached out to me a year ago or so and asked if they could do ads on the channel. And I'm like, I've never heard of you, and I'm not going to pimp a security service if I've never heard of you.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't now.
Yeah, I know, no doubt.
I do have some integrity, believe it or not.
You're gonna have to strike that video from your record if you ever did that.
By the way, Talking Heads brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends.
I really do play that game on the toilet for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but anyway, one of their claims was we are a no-log VPN. Them and the other 7 providers that apparently leaked 1.2 terabytes worth of user logs.
Yeah, that's not a small amount.
That's not an insignificant number.
And it wasn't just like IP addresses and stuff like that. It was legit.
It was traffic. Right.
It was traffic. It had locations. It had plain text passwords was in there. There's all kinds of stuff that was really, really bad. Yep. I'm not too sure how they're going to recover from something like this, but they did say they fixed it. So I don't know. Free service.
They also said it was no log. To be fair.
But they claimed, this log was just here for speed tests. We're just doing, efficiency tests and stuff like that.
No
and then
log
it's supposed to be
means
anonymous.
no log.
Yeah, no log means no log.
Anonymous doesn't fall into no log. No log means no log. And if your terms say no log, there should never be a log. And there was 1.2 terabytes of log. That's a problem.
It's thick, it's heavy, it's wood, it's log.
Right.
It's better than bad, it's good.
So according to the register, the data was clear text passwords, personal information, and list of websites visited, all for anyone to stumble upon on a publicly accessible site. It also included timestamps, location information, device characteristics, and OS versions of all the web domains accessed, and ads which were injected into the browsers by UFO's free tiers.
Oh, man.
So again, UFO, one of the free tiers that they offer is an ad-supported service, kind of like the old Net Zero, watch 3 30-second ads and get an hour of browsing.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing. So all of that data was recorded, logged, and then put into a file in plain text.
Yep.
That's a problem.
That is a problem.
So the response by UFO said, quote, "In this server, all collected information is anonymous and can only be used for analyzing the user's network performance and problems to improve service quality. So far, no information has been leaked." Did they read the log file?
Yeah, no, that's a lie. It definitely contained non-anonymous information, people's names and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, pretty much everything but their name. But if they typed their name in at some point, their name was recorded. Even if you're on like an HTTPS website, the header, so your title page, is still unsecured. And so if you log into Gmail, it says, craftcomputing@gmail.com.
Yeah, they know exactly where you're going. Yeah.
They know, the information contained within the web page is all encrypted, but they knew they can tie Craft Computing to that login at that point, and you're no longer anonymous.
You're no longer anonymous browsing anymore.
So be careful who you use for a VPN provider, and make sure they've been audited by a third party.
Yeah, I mean, well, these guys weren't. Well, I guess apparently how it came about that they were discovered was a lot due to the COVID. I don't know. Is it okay to say that now? I don't remember. Yeah, whatever.
I don't care on the show anymore.
Okay.
I honestly, it's been 22 weeks.
I know. But because people started working remotely, they had to open up some more things, and they didn't exactly explain what, but because of this more open network, that's where the logs started being searchable by, what was it? It was, I never heard of it before, but apparently it does in-depth searches, technical things, and tries to poke something. I don't know, but it got picked up by a search engine, and that's how they found it. Their log files was picked up by a search engine.
Yeah. Not great. Not a great look.
Not great. Not good at all. Especially for a company that's supposed to keep your internet history or internet browsing anonymous and not logged.
Yeah. Reminds me of the old SNL sketch with Eli Manning. Well, I'd like to insert or add to evidence, Mr. Manning's internet browse history.
Yeah.
I'd rather just confess to the murder.
I just want to do this now. Yeah. That was the thing. It's like everybody does deathbed scenes. Oh, here's my password. Please delete my history when I go.
Yeah, the health bracelet that says delete my browsing history.
Yeah.
I think we could all use one of those at some point.
Yep.
All right. Did I not copy this one? I didn't. Hold on. Thought I did, but it's not there.
Oh, is the next one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This one was pretty interesting.
Yeah. So Samsung made the news this week for an issue that cropped up a little over a month or 6 weeks ago, and has been progressively getting worse for Samsung.
Yes.
And the issue is a particular Blu-ray player that was made in 2015 suddenly just died in mass.
Yep.
So basically what happened was you had this Blu-ray player from Samsung. You put a disc into it. You turn the player on. It would go out and grab an update. And then it would reboot itself. And then it would reboot itself. And then it would reboot itself.
And keep rebooting it. It's stuck in a boot loop.
Right.
Yeah.
So apparently, Samsung issued an XML file to this model of Blu-ray player. And this model of Blu-ray player executed the XML file with no verification or any nothing. System checks or way out of it at all.
Yeah.
This particular XML file caused the Blu-ray player to crash on startup, which then rebooted the Blu-ray player, in which it parsed the XML file again, and then it crashed.
And it crashed again because it wasn't that the XML was badly formed. It was formed okay. It wasn't like missing a tag or anything like that. It's that there was an empty tag where I guess the system was expecting it not to be empty. It could not be null, but it was coming back null.
Right.
Which would basically crash it. And they don't have a way of updating or flashing that thing externally. There was no way.
Right.
So it essentially bricked it.
Yeah, it bricked the devices because it parses that XML file before it can reach out to the internet and get an updated XML file.
Yep.
So it boots like halfway to the main menu and then crashes.
Yep.
And this started being documented on Reddit and YouTube as long as about 5 or 6 weeks ago. And before long, thousands upon thousands of these complaints started rolling into Samsung and to various internet forums. And Samsung goes,
I don't know.
So to Samsung's credit, they are stepping up. They are saying, we made a mistake. We bricked your players.
Yeah.
You can mail them in for free and we will repair them for free.
Yeah.
So there is a forum that you can submit and get a prepaid shipping thing, and
which kind of sucks. I mean, it'd be nice. It's like, hey, just give me a new one. Come on, guys.
Right. Just send one out.
Just send me a new one. Come on. It's only a couple years old. It can't be that much different.
At some point, that's almost got to be cheaper for Samsung.
Yeah, I know. So I don't know.
I mean, they're riding the old Apple pony of we don't want to repair anything.
Right. Well, the guy who kind of discovered it, because I guess he's kind of a embedded hardware type of guy. He finally figured out how to actually flash the storage, but you had to like open it up, find the headers, solder in some wires or something like that just to get it to connect. Because there's no external way of doing it, and if that's what the Samsung people have to do to fix it, that's got to be kind of labor intensive to do all of those.
Right.
And at that point, is the labor worth more than just giving these guys a brand new DVD player? Yeah, I don't know.
Right. Well, it all depends on how many. I mean, if we're talking, 20, 30,000 shipped units, which isn't inconceivable.
Yeah.
That's a lot of. I mean, that's $15 million hit.
Yeah.
I mean, when you start adding it up, I mean, that's big money to Samsung.
It is.
I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world.
No.
Samsung's obviously got the cash, but do you want to have to write off $15 million for the company, or would you rather spend $3 million in mitigation?
Yeah.
So, I mean, every service response comes down to dollar and cents.
Yeah.
So, honestly, from the numbers that I see, I'm not shocked that they didn't just say, if you're affected, we'll just send you a new one.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe people just really loved that player. I don't know. They put googly eyes on it and gave it a name, and they just really didn't want to part with it.
Yeah, I have a Blu-ray player. It's in our bedroom, and it's the only optical reader I have in the house. I have a couple out in the garage.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to watch a Blu-ray, it's got to be on the bedroom TV.
Yeah. I've never used my Blu-ray player. I think I've used it maybe twice to actually watch a Blu-ray movie.
Yeah. I had, going back a couple of years, I had a Mitsubishi 57-inch DLP screen. And I had the whole 3D kit for it as well. So I had the Blu-ray 3D, and I had the glasses and the emitters and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Not that I had bought into the technology, but I got the TV for a really good deal, and it came with all of it. And I'm like, it'd be fun.
Wow, a little 3D action.
Right. I think I ever watched 2 movies on that. I think I watched Despicable Me and Avatar.
Oh. No 3D porn, huh?
No 3D porn.
Oh, okay, all right.
Between porn and COVID, we're definitely demonetized now.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Ugh. All right. Moving on to kind of the story of last week. That is the story that keeps on giving, and that is the Twitter hack.
Yes.
Boy, if there's ever a 0-day hack that could have more ramifications or bad publicity for a company.
Yep.
Boy,
this is really bad, especially for a major company like Twitter, and the amount of people that use it, all the verified accounts that use it, and especially since the hack definitely affected the big verified accounts.
This is a massive black eye for Twitter.
Yeah.
It really is. So the story came out, it was last Thursday. Or no, it was Wednesday that it happened. It was a week ago today, because I talked about it with Tom last week. A week ago today, there were hundreds of compromised Twitter accounts.
Yep.
Most of them highly verified. Barack Obama, Bill Gates.
Yeah, Elon Musk.
Musk,
big
go down
ones,
the list. Joe Biden, that had their Twitter accounts compromised and were tweeting out, hey, I've decided to give back because of COVID. Send me Bitcoin and I'll double the amount in donation.
Yeah.
Which, first off...
That's very scammy right there. But it comes from verified accounts, right? When you see someone like Elon Musk who kind of talks up Bitcoin to begin with, you think, oh, maybe it's legit. I don't know. It's a verified account.
When I saw Elon Musk's, I went, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
When
I saw Jeff
Joe
Bezos,
Biden, no way.
When I saw Jeff Bezos,
oh yeah, no, there's no way.
That's when I knew it was fake.
Yeah.
This was such a massive scam. Just as of last week, there was $675,000 that was sent to a Bitcoin wallet.
I think it was updated.
I didn't see the final number.
There was an updated number, I think, in the article. I think it's up to 100,000 now.
Yeah.
I think it was in the
8.
118,000.
That was way more than that. It was 675 at time of publication.
Oh, was it really? Okay,
yeah.
Then this article must be old.
Yeah.
Ish. Yeah, July 17th. So yeah. Okay. Then it's the 600 now. Wow.
Yeah, apparently Jeff Dunham also.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy strikes me as someone who's really into Bitcoin.
Really into Bitcoin.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if it was Ahmed, I mean that's one thing. But Jeff?
No.
Yeah, and Peanut's all about Dogcoin anyway.
Dogecoin, yeah.
Dogecoin. So this came out just a couple of days ago, or I guess on Saturday morning that there was a little bit of a post-mortem where Twitter verified that attackers got a hold of 130 accounts in Wednesday's breach.
Mm-hmm.
And that's bad enough. But they said, based on what we know, we believe approximately 130 accounts were targeted by the attackers in some way as part of the incident. For a small subset of these accounts, the attackers were able to gain control of the accounts and send tweets from those accounts. Well, we know it was upwards of 50 or 60 that actually sent the Bitcoin messages out.
Yeah.
And so for a small subset, 50 or 60 is not a small subset of 130 accounts, especially when you consider the following of those 130 accounts that were compromised.
Yeah.
We're working with impacted owners and will continue to do so over the next several days. And then we have been taking aggressive steps to secure our systems, and investigations are ongoing. So, 4 days after the attack, Twitter still wasn't all that forthcoming about what actually happened. And in the case of a massive hack like this, you better get out in front of the story.
Yeah.
You better, cross your T's, dot your I's, and you come clean. Because...
Yeah, and they didn't know what was going on when it first happened. They locked down everybody. Every verified account was locked out.
It took them 4.5 hours to even make a comment.
Yeah.
I mean, this was an insanely poor response by Twitter. Obviously, let's use a line from COVID, unprecedented times in our great, but this was a poor response from Twitter. I struggle to give them a D-, because the only thing they could have done worse is ignored it completely.
Yeah.
You cannot ignore the gravity of that breach for 4.5 hours.
Yep. I know. You got to get ahead of it right away.
Right. So about a day later, Twitter came out with a little bit of a post-mortem that said the hackers had almost limitless access to the accounts that they compromised.
Apparently, they got a hold of and it's still not super clear how they did, but they have access to the internal tools, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So what they say is this was a targeted social engineering attack against some higher up engineers within Twitter, and they accessed internal tools meant to manage Twitter's accounts.
Yeah.
The thing is that the way in which they took over these accounts bypassed two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
That's the concerning point.
That's a very concern because bypassing two-tier authentication is not easy. It's doable, but it's not easy at all, depending on how they do the two-tier authentication. I'm not too sure. I mean, if it's related to a device, did they spoof the device? How do they do that? I mean, I guess they're really, really sketchy on the details.
They're still very sketchy on the details. The only thing Twitter has come clean on is that they got access to an internal tool, and they managed to change passwords, reset the email two-factor password, and the users were never notified. And that's frightening.
Yeah.
Because there should be absolutely no admin tool for a service like this that bypasses authentication. There has to be a check and balance somewhere. Because Twitter has, emails and phone numbers. And so you should have access to one of the two if you need to verify.
Yeah.
And you should have to, from one of those recipients, check your two-factor authentication to give the account to someone else or to change anything internally with your two-factor.
Of course, yeah.
And that was not done. The internal tool just changed
it. It just went bypassed it all.
Right.
Yeah.
And so as poor as their response was, their internal administration of their accounts, that's inexcusable.
Yeah.
That is absolutely inexcusable. Tyler, do you think it's time that we have decentralized identity? Yeah.
I think that would be great if we can do that.
Right. Number one, you have to get total buy-in.
Yeah, you do.
But But I mean, I've talked on the show before how social security numbers were never intended to be a universal identifier for people. They were meant to be just that, your social security identification number that verified that you paid social security over your work career and you were eligible for it at the time it was what, 54?
Yeah. But it
now
just
it's
became
67.
It just became universal, and then everybody used it as an identifier.
Right, and all of a sudden it's a credit check and whatnot. It was never meant to be what it's been utilized to be, and no one has gotten out in front of it and said we need a better system. Yeah,
because identity theft and stuff like this, if we do have decentralized, breaches like this are not going to be as bad. Stuff like this won't be as severe. Right.
So, yeah, decentralized would be great. Going with a cryptographic, blockchain, etc. for universal identification for everything that's personal about you and whatnot. The downside is if that's ever breached, that's a little bit harder to contain and repair. Right. I have a weird situation where I was legally adopted. I have an amended birth certificate, and my amended birth certificate has a different spelling of one of my names than my original official birth certificate and my social security card. And all of my identification paperwork is for the original spelling, but apparently somewhere in the adoption paperwork it got messed up. And legally, my name had changed as of the adoption paperwork because that's a new birth certificate.
Was it Jeff with the G?
Well, let's say yes. Let's say yes.
You have no idea.
Yeah, but there's a different spelling of my name, and that's a different legal name than what I use as my legal name and what Social Security has as a legal name. And no one can change it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So... I don't know if I'll ever be able to go to Canada.
I don't know if you really want to go to Canada. I mean,
right. Well, I was going to go to LTX this year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but no, that got canceled.
I was scheduled to go. Yeah.
Well, I could always smuggle you in the trunk or something like that. When we pass the border, we'll just. I mean, they have Mounties. They're on horses. We're in cars. How are they going to catch us? We'll just go fast. They have 1 horsepower. My car has.
Why would they be on horses?
Yeah.
Well, I assume they were using some kind of halberd. Anyway, like I said, I struggled to give Twitter anything more than a D-, and in fact, I really want to lean F for number one, the response, and definitely an F for their internal management. Yeah. That is absolutely asinine. Yeah. That number one, the hack even took place, but number two, that the hackers had the amount of access they did with that one internal tool, and you couldn't shut them down.
Right. There was nothing they can do. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people speculate, and I think it's been verified today, I thought. Yeah. That the releasing of the Bitcoin tweet was kind of like a 0-day burn. Let's burn this sucker. Right. And so who knows how long they had access before they did that. They probably figured, okay, let's go in, let's get as much data as we can, download whatever. And there's been speculation that they had access to the DMs. And I think it was validated today that, yes, they did have access to DMs.
That they directly accessed at least 36 victims' DMs, included one of an elected official. And so this could have very well been, let's distract them with the Bitcoin thing while we're accessing all the rest of the data. Yeah. So let's have them chase something else. Yeah. And there's been a lot of speculation about that because, you're exactly right. This is what's called a 0-day burn. You find an exploit, you get what you need out of it, and then you torch the door behind you. Yep. So number one, the next guy can't do it, and number two, they can't find you when you're done. Yep. Direct quote from CNBC, the hackers accessed 36 direct message inbox, including one of an elected official in the Netherlands, Twitter said. Direct messages are similar to phone text messages, because again, this is a CNBC article, and are generally presumed to be private.
Generally believed to be pirate.
Yep. Twitter's disclosure on Wednesday complicates an already murky picture about who the attackers were and what they were after. End quote. So, yeah. In fact, the CNBC article says they only collected 121,000. It was more than that.
More than that. Okay.
The number that I saw last week was 675. Because people were watching that Bitcoin wallet. Let me tell you. And if I'm wrong on that, maybe I'm wrong. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least you weren't verified, so it didn't affect you.
Yeah. Thanks to CNBC for explaining what a DM is. I would have never known.
Hey, you'd be surprised. Some people don't know. People throw around acronyms all the time. They're like, well, what's that?
Yeah. A Twitter DM, similar to a text message on your cell phone.
Oh, a text message. Okay, I get it now.
Which is kind of like a real-time email.
Yeah. It's like a telephone call, but with text.
Why don't you just call them? Oh, we're turning into our parents, Steve.
Yeah, I know.
All right, moving right along.
Yeah, next one.
How's your beer doing?
It's getting low. I'm not like super thrilled with it, but it's not horrible.
Yeah. It's kind of where I'm at here. In fact, this one's starting to taste. So again, my review of the last Free State beer that I had, I don't even remember what the beer was called because it was that bad. It was that unmemorable. Where it was like, it's an IPA. It was something that I'd expect out of Sierra Nevada or Early Stone kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's a West Coast IPA.
Yeah, just standard IPA.
This is a West Coast IPA with a little bit of like hazy funk added to it. And just like the last one, I'm tasting like clover and dirt. Yeah. And the last one, it was like oregano and dirt.
I really don't like that dirt flavor. There's been a few.
Right.
Where
my mouth is almost gritty right now.
Yeah. I hate that there's a certain hop too that there's some places that use it almost have like a pickle flavor to it, like a pickle juice flavor.
Yep. Can't stand
it. One of John's favorite, I'm sure.
Pickle beer.
Pickle beer. Oh. Although he said he has an extra one for me, I don't mind because a couple pickle beers I've had, they're okay. It didn't have a super pickly flavor. It's almost tasted more like cucumber than anything. But apparently, he says this one's like really, really pickly. So I'll try it.
Yeah. LTX is nothing but a science fair. Yeah, it's kind of why I wanted to go.
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that?
Sounds like fun.
Hanging out with a bunch of really cool people all day.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with that? Just remember, ByteMyBits got all that beer from a gas station in Kansas.
Was it a come and go?
Right, probably a come and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, he tried to sneak a malt beverage in on me.
Oh, did he?
I'm going to totally call him out on this because, there's one beer I was looking out in my fridge the other day.
Yeah.
And I turned to the back. I'm like, oh, what's this one all about? And it says premium malt beverage. I went, what the?
Actually, when
this ain't no craft beer.
A couple weeks ago, so I know for some people on the stream don't know, but people in Portland probably do know. There's a market called John's Marketplace, and it's one of the bigger, probably the biggest bottle shops that they have in the Portland area.
Yes.
And they opened a secondary location, and so me and John wanted to go to it, and so we went there opening day, and I was perusing all the beers and stuff like that, and I found this one that it had a big red label on the outside. It was a 22-ounce bomber with a big red label that said 15%. And I'm like, what? And I go look at this.
Well, of course I have to try that.
And it was like $3.50 for a 20. It was $3.50, and it was like some kind of Croatian beer or something like that. It did say it was like a Belgian style. It was a Belgian style beer that was 15%.
Oh, John was talking about this. That's right.
Yeah.
Like a Belgian quad that was 15% and $3.
Yeah, for like $3, and I'm like, I gotta try it. I gotta try it, and it pretty much tasted like a high-end malt liquor. is what it kind of tastes like. It had malt liquor with a slide of that Belgian-y esters to it. So it was interesting. I definitely shared it with quite a few people because I wasn't about to try drinking that all by myself. But yeah, it was interesting. I'm $3.50. Who cares?
Dunkel says, open a lager at 5:48 a.m. Sound about right, Jeff?
Yeah, lagers are like water anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as it's German purity, you're 3/4 of the way there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Belgian triple or malt liquor? No, it was definitely said a Belgian triple.
Civil says, going off the news, it seems like there's nothing left of Portland. The news is covering a lot of negativity in Portland right now. There's also so much good in the protests happening up there right now. I don't know how much I want to get into this, but I will say what you're seeing on the news is very, very, very much of the extremism, and none of the crowds of 10 and 15,000 people that are standing 6 feet apart with masks and singing.
Yeah, Portland is still a major metropolitan area, so there's parts of it that are fine. There's nothing going on.
Well, not only that, there's very, very small areas of protests that are going on, mainly around the courthouse.
It's downtown, yeah. It's all downtown.
Mainly because of the federal reservists who are coming in and kind of stirring the pot a little bit, so to speak. Yes, there's some people trying to break down the courthouse, plywood and break windows and things like that. Shame on them. That's not how you protest. But there's also people being thrown into unmarked vans, and that's not cool from the other side. So, yeah. But the protests have been massively peaceful for the most part. And I think that's about all I want to say on that. No way, the news is skewed? Oh, you sweet summer child.
Skewed one way or the other, depending on where you want to look.
Yep. So, no, it is not a post-apocalyptic, nuke town down by the waterfront.
Although I did, last time I did drive through, there was a noticeable increase of graffiti everywhere.
Yes. Yeah. I haven't been to Portland since before the shelter in place started. Back when we were calling it shelter in place and not quarantine.
I went up there last weekend because I've been wanting to go to this place for a long time, and so we went to the new John's Marketplace again.
ByteMyBits $10 donation. Do next week's show at the protest.
Well, next it's John.
Oh boy!
I don't think I have any black bloc, so I don't think we can go. We'd probably get pounced on. I don't know. But anyway, when I was driving up there was another place I wanted to go to called Ale Fire, which is a bottle shop, tap room, and hot sauce. So they have a ton of like different hot sauces and stuff like that, and that's like right up my alley because I love hot sauce. So I picked up a few hot sauces that were there. Really, really good ones too.
Nice.
But yeah, that's the last time I went up there.
All right. Let's move on.
I'm ready for my next beer. I don't know if you're.
Yeah, I got my next one ready.
Yeah, I think I might do a series of tubes.
Well, I got the Lewitt Belgian Winter Ale, Belgian Winter Strong Ale. Well, it's way lighter colored than I expected it to be.
It's still a pretty decent, good color.
Yeah.
I smell the aroma here. Oh, it smells really good. This is going to be much, much better than the last one. I can tell this already. How is it? Good? Yeah? Nice?
I'm going off the nose, and yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, man, yes.
Ooh, that is good. It kind of almost has that, I kind of hate to say it because I kind of like the flavor. The armpit sweat, poppy. You know what I'm talking about because you tasted it before too, right? Yes, yes. You taste a little bit of that, but the rest of it, a little bit of that. It's there just a little bit, and then the rest just tastes like tropical fruit, orange and stuff like that. But just up front, just just for a second, you're like,
Yeah,
I'm
someone said
looking at
that can art. Yeah, this can art is legit.
I don't know. I still like my.
It's a hellspawn demon with goat horns holding a set of Christmas lights, and Santa is falling off a mountain. Like, it's amazing.
Nightmarish. I still like my screensaver one. The screensaver.
Someone says show the Lewitt can art. Here we go. Yeah, so I don't. Right about there. Yeah. So yeah, it's a goat horned demon holding Christmas lights, and Santa Claus is falling off a mountaintop, holding on to him. I don't know if they're around his neck or not, but yeah. Anyway, this is delightful.
Okay, good, because I was telling you before the show started, I'm pretty sure I picked up a can of that. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to that too.
If you like Belgian Strongs,
I love Belgian Strongs.
This is amazingly good.
Oh, good. Tropical fruited armpit ale. That's pretty much what some IPAs taste like. This one has that slightly armpity flavor, but not enough to be offensive.
Take your Belgian esters, add the slightest touch of vanilla, and crank the esters up by about 8-fold.
Oh, nice.
Oh God, it's good. I don't even care about the show anymore. I just want to drink this beer.
Yeah, getting those esters just right, that kind of Belgian-y banana esters.
Yeah. So this has cardamom added, and you can definitely tell there's a lot of like cinnamon, almost like a horchata kind of taste to it, but it just accentuates that clove and kind of banana, and very, very rich. Yeah. Like a cinnamon banana split is kind of what I'm getting.
The last beer I tried to make was a Hefeweizen, which the Hefeweizens can have that same Belgian-y, flavor. Yeah. But in order to get that, you have to maintain the fermenting temperature. So it has to be like around, 78, 79 degrees. Right. And so I have this heating sleeve that I'm supposed to put around the carboy so it keeps everything warm. I want that one. Yeah. But what happens is the sensor that's supposed to help maintain the temperature, the cat knocked it over. And so the temperature for the sleeve got up to like 90 degrees. So the beer was fermenting at like a really high temperature. And so I didn't get those ester spices. It just ends up tasting like skunk beer. It was
I actually found an Amazon affiliate link for your mug.
Oh, you did?
I did. I just posted it in chat.
I tried looking last time when somebody asked, and I couldn't find it. I know there were ones that were similar.
Right.
But let me see. Is this the one? I'll click on it here. Oh yeah, that's the one. Actually, I think this one's a little different because, well, it looks like it's got more chrome on it.
Yeah.
Than mine.
Yeah, but this one's still the steel lined.
Yep. Very, 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 very similar.
Yep. So yeah, there you go. There's a mug.
There you go. Not bad. For coffee, beverage, juice
or other 17 ounce.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna have my juice in here.
Yes.
Like there's no way I'm not gonna put like some kind of liquor in here.
Exactly. Fill my cup, pour some liquor in it.
That's right.
All right, one question, and then we'll jump into DDR5 specs.
Sure.
I meant to ask this. If E5 2699 V3 works, you want to borrow it and do some benchmarks. I don't know, because I've actually got a couple of really nice DDR 2600 V3 chips. I've got the 2680 V3, which is basically the same core. It's the same 2.6 gigahertz core. I think the 2699 is 2.5. Yours is 18 cores, mine's 12. So it adds 6 cores, 12 threads. But beyond that, there's no additional performance gain anywhere. It has more cache, but it's more cache per core, not more overall cache. So I don't know that what I would get off of there is much different than what I have already seen. I appreciate the offer, though. I really do. Yeah, I just don't know what video I would make with it. All right. DDR5.
Yes.
JDEC Spec is officially official now.
That's right. We've been expecting some kind of spec from last year. They thought it was going to be out, but
yeah, they thought the spec was going to be finalized in 2018, and by late 2019, we should have seen DDR5 modules.
Yeah.
But there's been delay after delay and disagreement after disagreement, and so it took them this long to finalize the JDEC spec. But the good news is RAM is getting faster and more plentiful.
Yep.
Whether or not it gets cheaper, we'll see.
Yeah. I know. I myself just upgraded to all DDR4, so and now DDR5 is just starting to come out. So yeah, I'm behind the curve a little bit. I'm starting to be behind the curve.
Now, unfortunately, this particular article doesn't actually list the new JDEC specs, and that frustrated the living heck out of me.
Yep.
Because I'm looking like, okay, what's the new base frequency? Like DDR4 is 2133. What's the new bit?
Yeah, the link that they give that's supposed to let you point to it doesn't really point to it.
Right. Yeah. There's a JDEC article about how we went through this 5-year process to we increased the BL16 and bank count from 32 to 32 from 16, which oh, here we go. Here's the spec I was looking for. DDR5 DIMM has 2 40-bit fully independent subchannels on the same module. So each stick has the potential to be dual channel.
Oh, that's good.
So in theory, you could actually get consumer motherboards up to quad channel memory. So this could actually yield some phenomenal speeds. And that was rumored for a number of years. But it looks like that is actually coming to fruition as per the JDEC article. Mm-hmm. And it's saying DDR4 is expected... DDR5 supports double the bandwidth as compared to its predecessor. So 4266, I'm assuming. And is expected to be launched at 4.8 gigabit per second, 50% higher than DDR4's end-of-life speed of 3.2 gigabit per second. So in theory, that actually could be almost a 4-fold increase.
That's going to be a big performance boost.
Because of the doubling of channels. So all the people wanted to build home servers, that DDR5 is going to be great. My God, this is wonderful.
I'm going to have to go digging through my beer fridge and see if I can find it.
I'm finding very little fault. 4.5.
4.5?
Yep.
Really?
That's a 4.5.
That's some high praise right there. I mean, I love Belgian beers too, and sometimes it's hard to find a really good one.
This is a really good one.
Okay.
I'm really glad I bought 2 cans too.
Okay. I'll have to go look, because either I was going to pick it up or I did pick it up.
Yeah.
But if I didn't, I'll just go find it. I'll pick it up.
Yeah, I've got close to 150 different beers in my 4 fridges right now.
Well, you're not quite approaching John's level of
I'm not, but it's nothing to scoff at.
No, not at all.
Especially the collection that I have. I have some good stuff.
Yeah. I have 2 tiers. I have my upstairs, and then I have my aging downstairs. I have my aged stuff downstairs. So,
I've got a shelf in this fridge here that's probably worth $300 by itself.
Yeah.
And that's my mini fridge.
Well, yeah, you got that Mother of All Storms there, which is my favorite.
I do.
Absolute favorite barley wine there.
That's on the bottom shelf.
And that one's just by itself is like a $25, $26 bottle.
Yeah.
Just by itself.
I've got a couple $40 bottles down there. I've got a couple 50s down there. I've got a number of $20 and $25 bottles down there. So there's probably $300 to $400 of beer just in this fridge right here. It adds up really quick.
Yeah, no, I know it adds up real quick.
Okay.
Anything more about the DDR5?
I think that's about it, because there's not a lot of specs to go on.
No, again, not really much.
Likely 4266 megahertz and a doubling of the channels, as in 2 channels per DIMM, which could lead to 4-socket or 4-channel DIMMs on consumer boards.
Yep.
8-channel on high-end desktops. So you're talking X299 successor and Threadripper successor. And you're also talking, 12-channel on Intel and 16-channel on Epic.
Yep.
If this proves to be true. So that's a pretty sizable increase.
It's a big increase
in memory throughput.
But there's no real speculation as to when it'll be released.
Late 2021 is probably the earliest you will ever see this.
So we got a while.
Most of the speculations I'm seeing is early 2022.
Okay.
As far as an actual consumer release for DDR5, we may see like Q3 2021 server processors or server support release for DDR5, but I don't think we're going to see consumer release until at least a year and a half from now.
Yeah. Well, time to save up.
Yep. All right. Intel, a little bit of speculation and some confirmations.
I lost Jeff's audio again.
That's not my
I don't know what
fault.
you did.
That's not my fault.
He just went away. Do I got to log back in again?
You might have to log back in.
Oh wait, now you're back again.
Oh wait.
What happened?
I don't know.
Mystery.
I never went away.
Those tech problems.
I'm watching the volume meters. I'm watching my level meters, and they're both ticking.
That is very weird. Yeah, I don't like those pesky problems that just all of a sudden resolve themselves.
Right.
Those are the scariest because you have no idea what happened. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's nice. It's like, I don't got to do anything. It fixed itself. But then not knowing, that this problem, this phantom problem that's out there that could just creep up and just all of a sudden crash your system. Yeah, that's
okay, Sybil just said, can't hear Jeff.
Yeah, for a second, we couldn't hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Am I there? I'm watching the level inside of OBS. I'm watching my meter tick.
Let me see.
Let me check the discords. No Fs. I'm going to check with my mod here. Cool. It's fine. Moving on.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
The hell, people. Spoon, I'm blaming you.
Yeah, it's all his fault.
Okay, now they're all saying you're fine. Audio never cut out over here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever. All right. Speculation and confirmations of Intel Alder Lake CPUs.
Yes.
According to videocards.com. So there's been a little bit of speculation that there may be what Samsung has been doing with their Oxynos chips for quite a while. Oxynos, their 8-core chips for quite a while. That Intel may be kind of diving into that same technology, having 4 very high-power chips on a die, and then 4 less than powerful chips on a die to take care of less priority tasks or background tasks, or things like that, to give the full attention of your high-performance processors, whatever they need. And let them not have to focus on all the background crap that Windows is doing. Oh, Windows updates, and I need to install Candy Crush even though I've uninstalled it 17 times. That kind of crap.
Yeah.
That kind of crap can be handled by a subprocessor.
Yeah.
Or a coprocessor built into the CPU die. And we're getting some confirmation that that is indeed coming out as of Alder Lake.
Right.
So Intel is going to be... Oops. Helps if I change the article on the main window.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. So Intel is calling this a hybrid core architecture. Essentially what they're going to be doing is bringing next-gen CPUs, or 2-gen from now. So once they can finally make a 10-nanometer CPU, we might be able to see this. Is they're going to be bringing Atom processors to mainstream consumer processors as a coprocessor to handle background tasks.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, that could work out pretty good. I mean, I don't know how many background tasks how they would deem it. I guess you would be able to assign You'd go into like maybe a task manager and be able to assign which priority you want.
Just like assigning core affinity.
Yeah.
You could do it like that, say high power or low power.
Yeah.
And that could totally, work. But I have noticed in benchmarks sometimes inconsistencies in benchmarks when Windows is doing something in the background that it's not alerting me to.
Because it's taking up core processing power.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's a main frustration of running benchmarks is you have to keep a benchmark system updated. Otherwise, when you go to run benchmarks, Windows will be doing updates in the background that it's uncompressing multiple gigabytes of files and taking 20% of your CPU cycles.
Or you have a bunch of background.
In some games you won't notice, but in some CPU sensitive games, that absolutely drops your frame rate. And so I've gotten inconsistent results because of things like that before.
You have some weird service in the background doing some weird stuff. Who knows?
Right.
Yeah. You got Cortana listening to you.
Well, she's always listening.
Yeah, she's always listening.
While the upcoming 11th Gen Core series, Rocket Lake, will provide a new core architecture, Willow Cove. Would you just settle on one name? I forgot.
I'm a Rocket Lake.
Rocket Lake. Using Willow Cove architecture. It would still rely on the 14-nanometer fabrication process.
Yeah, I know. No way.
That said, Alder Lake is expected to be the biggest architectural improvement for Intel in years.
Well, because they need a win.
They need a win.
They need a win.
Do. And Intel, I'm rooting for you. I am not an AMD fanboy. It's just, what have you done for me lately? I'm a fan of where the market is a fan. I'm a fan of where the performance and value and money is at.
Yes. Price to
very
performance.
Little reason.
Price to performance. That's what I'm a fan of. Yeah.
I can't say there's no reason not to buy Intel right now, but there's very little compelling reason to buy Intel right now.
Yeah.
And I'm talking top to bottom. I'm talking data center, high-end server, small business, workstation, consumer, entry level. There's very little compelling reason to look at Intel right now. Just from a cost benefit perspective.
I mean, maybe in the cheap used market. Might be, if you're looking for a budget.
As people
budget
are, PC. That's actually something that could happen as Intel loses some clout.
Yeah.
Because Intel for years has, very much like Apple products, they have such a high resale value of people selling, 4 and 5 generation old CPUs for a 20% discount of a brand new CPU.
Yeah.
So I remember when the 7700K came out, people selling 2600Ks for $250.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like, no. You're 5 generations behind.
Yeah, I know.
And I know they're
ridiculous.
Intel generations, so it's tick tock, tick tock, tick.
Right.
But still, you're 5 generations of a product line behind.
Yeah.
And
that's a premium price for something that old. Yeah.
Right, and I've never understood it. I sold, this was 2 years ago, a 3770K for $240 on eBay.
Wow.
And I let him bid it up to that.
Wow.
Like I think I had to buy it now at like $220, and I had an entry level bid of like $150, and they bid it up to $240. It's like, you stupid. But it's because of the clout that Intel has had for so long that they are the performance king. And whatnot, and AMD has not been able to compete, that they've been able to keep that resale value because even the older chips still performed better than AMD's newest stuff.
Yeah.
Well, now you have chips like the 3600, which is $179.
Yeah.
Outperforming by 50% or more multi-threaded. I mean, you're talking a 3600 out of the box that is single thread performance competing with about a 4.5 gigahertz 7700K.
Yeah.
Out of the box. And Intel is not that much above that. I mean, a 7700K performs at the same level at 4.5 gigahertz that a 9900K does and a 10900K does.
Yeah.
It's the same chip.
Yeah.
And there might be little tweaks here and there. Or there's no new instruction sets, that's for sure. There's no new fab.
It's still the old one,
for sure. But so there might be a little performance gain, a little bit more power efficiency kind of eked out of 9900K, makes it perform, 2-3% faster.
Maybe.
But a 7700K in single-threaded performance is a 9900K in single-threaded performance.
Yeah. And
you have in AMD's entry-level chip at the 3600 at 179. That's beating right there.
Yeah, it's right there, and it's a no-brainer for consumers.
Right.
It's like, why not? So, and that's what I'm saying. Like maybe just at this point, maybe not in this point, but maybe in the near future, the used Intel market is going to be pretty cheap because it's going to be flooded with old chips. Right. And then someone who's looking to have like a budget build or something like that and looking for some used things, maybe you go for Intel at that point because they'll still be fine at the time, but
right.
You won't be paying that premium Intel price anymore because everybody there'll be a glut in the market.
Right. If you can get a 3770K and an overclockable motherboard, $180.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good deal.
That's a
pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Uses DDR3, which is less expensive on the used market.
Yep.
You could build yourself a pretty rock solid and still very much competent today, considering current competition.
Yeah.
Today, system for a couple of $100.
Yeah.
Until Intel kind of makes it competitive again, their name is what's kind of being, losing some clout right now.
Yeah, they're on a name recognition only right now.
Yep. So
people are out buying. It's like, oh, is it Intel inside? I remember that.
Yeah,
I'll buy that.
I remember Intel.
I remember.
Remember when they were good? It was last year. It's all that AMD Ryzen's fault.
Yep.
All right. Here's some news. So for those who follow the enterprise networking market, you will recognize... Well, you'll recognize it anyway, but you'll recognize the name Broadcom. Because Broadcom is probably in 60 to 70% of all switching hardware.
Broadcom's been around for a while, too.
They've been around for a long, long time.
Long time.
I remember my Broadcom V92 modem.
I do. I had a Broadcom modem as well.
Yep. They've been around for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And they are one of the main players in the networking space. A lot of it because of their switching hardware, their switching processors. But if you look at HP Aruba, if you look at, I believe Palo Alto uses Broadcom. Unify kind of bounces back and forth between Broadcom and... I'm drawing a blank on the other one. But Broadcom's in a lot of things, and they're a major OEM for desktop chips as far as integrated, network cards. They're a big name, and they're not someone that a lot of people compete with. Intel competes on the desktop and server connectivity kind of stuff. But HP and Dell both use Broadcom as their OEM for their onboard network cards. Realtek kind of fell out of that game. Occasionally, you'll still see a Realtek chip
every once in a while,
on a LAN, but for the most part, it's Broadcom. Even in Wi-Fi, Broadcom is there. A lot of modems, cellular modems. It's a Broadcom chip. Well, the news today is that there is possibly a new player coming in and coming in hard, and that is Innovium.
Yeah, Innovium.
Innovium is how I want to say it.
I think that's Innovium. Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
Innovium, Innovium.
Right, Innovium. So Innovium is a startup chip company. They are manufacturing their own chips, and they are looking to compete squarely at Broadcom in the switching market. Now, the reason this is news is not because they are a chip startup, but because they've already raised $170 million in capital to begin production.
Yeah.
And their company has reportedly been valued at $1 billion.
Yeah. Yes.
The reason that's big is when your company has a valuation of $1 billion and you're looking at taking on a very, very long time incumbent, there's a lot of really smart people who say there's something going on here.
Right. That's kind of unheard of with a company coming out of the bat being $1 billion.
A $1 billion valuation on a company that has not really produced a product yet is kind of unheard of. So yeah, Broadcom apparently has their Tomahawk and Trident series chips out right now, as well as their Teralynx 7, which is a 12.8 terabit per second product. Mm-hmm. So again, we're talking high-end switching.
Yeah.
There's talk that Innovium is kind of nipping at their heels. Gosh, where was the speeds at? I don't want to claim something wrong. Thought they had a claimed speed in here. It might have been another article I was reading. Anyway, by late 2020, Broadcom is expected to have a 25.6 terabit chip in sampling stages. So doubling the current throughput. Yeah, it's... Gosh. It had to have been another article that I was reading. Because they had some prototypes and some expected throughputs on some prototypes. And scalability was high. I want to say it was in the 8 to 9 terabit per second range on some of their chips.
Okay.
And it was going to be more than price competitive.
Wow.
When it was released.
That's really good.
Right. Like... so we're kind of talking like a first generation Ryzen thing. So if you think like first generation Ryzen versus like 7700K, where it's like, okay, single threaded, you're 80% of the way there. Multi-threaded, you're beating us because you can cram more of them in. And price point, you're really beating us because you're $100 less. And so if you're cool with 80% of the single thread performance, and this is kind of that same equation. And why people are really hot on Innovium is because of the design that they have in and some of the prototypes that they have shown. So $170 million in funding, $1 billion company, kind of out of nowhere.
That's kind of that's unheard of almost. Yep. It's very, very, very rare something like that happens.
Gosh, now I'm ticked off about where I read that article at.
Well, on another note, John was telling me I actually have had that beer before. The Holy Diver.
Oh, sorry. Innovium was the Teralynx products. That's right. Okay.
Teralynx.
So the Teralynx 7, the Teralynx 8, that 12.8 terabit, that was Innovium. Sorry, I was getting my wires crossed. I thought that was the Broadcom number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's right. I looked up the Broadcom number to compare. That's right. Okay. It's been a long day. Screw you, yes. Adobe. I have had about enough.
Yeah, you were telling me about all your editing problems earlier.
Oh, man. Yeah. Sorry. Sometimes wires get crossed. But no, yeah, sorry. It's the Teralynx products. That's the Innovium. So yeah, they have a 12.8 terabit product out on the market right now and a 25.8 terabit product that's going to be sampled in late this year. And they just secured $170 million in funding to be able to produce that chip. That's what it was.
Big demand.
Yes.
Big anticipated demand.
Yes. Okay. Now that I've completely forgotten where it was. It happens sometimes. So I was telling Steve before the show. So my tutorial video that went up at 6 p.m. today, that video should have been posted yesterday at 6 p.m. because the tutorial videos, I usually do about 2 days of prep as far as making sure my process is rock solid and works on every platform and I'm not missing something or, it's not something unique to my system. And I'm showing you the generalized process. So I approach that with a very high level of scrutiny. So I did that on Sunday and Monday, and I thought I could sit down on Tuesday, and usually a tutorial like that, it's a fairly simple edit. It's a fairly simple shoot if everything goes right. It's a 2 to 3 hour shoot, and it's a 2 hour edit. Mm-hmm. And so that's a 1 day video. And so I sat down Tuesday morning at 8:30 and had my coffee and then started, turned on the camera and started filming. So many things went wrong with I missed a step, or I showed the wrong process, or I wasn't following my notes, or I ad-libbed this part, that by 2 p.m. I was like, okay, I'm finally finished. And so instead of like a 2 to 3 hour shoot, it was like a 5 to 6 hour shoot. I get the footage over to my editing rig, and I'm like, I can still crank this out by 5 p.m. Like if I hurry, I can still do this and make it good. Go over to my editing PC. 2/3 of my capture footage, not my camera, but my screen capture footage, was cropped in so you couldn't see it. So I had to redo that, and then it was in a format that Adobe didn't like, so I had to find an encoding that worked for it. And when I finally found the encoding that worked for it, I went, I'm going to bed. I'm done. Like 6 o'clock, it's like, I'm done. I'm walking away. It's not going to be done today. I can come at it tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But if I come at it tomorrow and all my encoding is good and I can just edit it, it's start at 8 a.m., publish at 10 a.m., and I'm off the computer by 11. Yeah. And so it's again a very early thing. And then I've got Wednesday to like kick back, relax, maybe get out and do some yard work. And so I was in my office again at 8:30 this morning. I didn't publish that video until 6 because I had so many problems with Adobe editing that video. I think I counted 7 crashes and then 2 additional crashes while rendering.
Yeah,
like it was not a good shoot. And 1 o'clock, I had Adobe crash and do this really fun thing where it hadn't auto saved in the last 2 hours, so I lost 2 hours worth of work.
That's always fun. It's not rage-inducing at all.
No,
not at all.
I actually slammed my head on the table.
Yeah,
I was so mad. I hit the mouse mat. I knew where I was aiming, but I hit my forehead to the table.
Yeah. You're not
and I walked
sadist.
upstairs. I walked upstairs and I went, I'm taking 15 minutes. Nope, I'm done.
That's where that shot of whiskey comes in. Just
going for a walk.
Yeah, let's go for it. All right.
This is not getting worse.
No, I know. Okay, so while you were talking, I kind of John texted on Discord. I guess apparently I did have that beer already.
Which one?
The Holy Diver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I'm looking at it on Untapped. Apparently I liked it a lot, but the reason why I probably don't remember is because it was at 7:30 on the 4th of July. So that was probably like my 8th beer of the day. So I
have a couple Untapped check-ins where I go, I've had that before?
Yeah. So yeah,
and it's after a string of like 6 check-ins.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
that kind of makes sense why I did not remember that I had it before.
Right.
But I do remember. I guess I liked it. That's why I have Untapped, to remind me of those times where I do not remember that I drank something.
Yep. Jeff, did I ever try DaVinci Resolve? The only time I've tried DaVinci Resolve, I've tried to go to it 2 or 3 times. I've tried to go to it 2 of the last 3 years at CES. And it either didn't like my hardware, or the first 2 years I was shooting H.264, and unless you pay the $300 to get the Pro version, you can't edit H.264. You have to edit ProRes or Blackmagic RAW. And so I was not in that workflow, and I wasn't willing to spend $300 on, maybe this is better than Premiere. Yeah. I've heard good things about it. I've heard wonderful things about Resolve. But I've also been using Premiere professionally for, 3 years on YouTube now and a couple years before that. Mm-hmm. I'd have to change my entire workflow. I'd have to relearn how to do it. And I know it's just a nonlinear editor, but all your tools are in different places. How you do things is different, and so it's going to be a transition. I do want to make the transition eventually, but at the same time, I also don't know that I can get out of Adobe's payment cycle because I pay for the full package of Adobe products. And I use Photoshop and Audition as part of my cycle. And there's tools that GIMP doesn't have that I use in Photoshop. There's tools that Audition has that, Audacity doesn't have that I do use as part of my workflow. So it's not going to be as simple as, just switch to Resolve and everything's done and you don't have to pay Adobe anymore. I still have to pay Adobe. And if I still have to pay Adobe, why am I not using Premiere and spending $300 on Resolve?
I know there's a solution.
That's the cost analysis that I'm going through in my head.
There's a solution you probably haven't considered. You might want to consider this. It might be a good idea. Try using
hiring an editor.
No, Microsoft Video Editor. I hear that's pretty good.
Oh, Windows Movie Maker.
Yeah, the old.
I did make a couple videos on Windows Movie Maker in the early mid 2000s.
Oh yeah,
So,
no, I remember the old Video Maker back then.
Yep. For XP.
Yeah, for Windows XP. Yeah.
Yep. Some church slideshows and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I was all about that.
It's all good hot stuff.
Mm-hmm. I actually have a copy of Adobe Premiere 1.0 for Windows 3.1.
Oh, really?
Installed in DOSBox, and I thought it would be hilarious
to go edit something with it.
To try to edit a video on Adobe Premiere 1.0.
I don't think it would be able to take the high-end resolution.
I couldn't take a modern codec. It would have to be an AVI Microsoft codec, so I'd have to figure out how to downsample my footage to something it could read.
Yeah.
But I think it's possible.
Probably. I mean, it would be. Maybe smaller because...
Oh, it'd have to be massively smaller.
Well, yeah, because it's... I don't know if it needs... Well, it probably doesn't have to be installed on... Well, yeah, whatever.
It'd be like max 640, 480. In fact, we're probably talking 320, 240 as far as like a workful goes. I don't even know how the workflow would work on a program that old.
Yeah, it's pretty old.
But I have a copy of it, and I'd love to try it sometime.
I think my dad still has a copy.
And it still crashes.
Yeah, it still crashes. I think he still has a copy somewhere, a box of it, of Illustrator before it was bought out by Adobe. It was Aldus Illustrator.
Yeah.
I think it was Aldus Illustrator 3 or something like that. Mm-hmm. I think he still has a box of that somewhere. I should go over there and see if I can find it. It'd be kind of fun.
It'll output GIF or FLV. No, it actually outputs AVI. It doesn't output FLV because FLV at that time was a Macromedia product before Macromedia was bought out by Adobe. Mm-hmm. And cursed the world with Adobe Flash.
Back then, you had two options basically. It was AVI or MOV. Mm-hmm. And that was about it.
Yep. I'm hoping to churn something out about as good of quality as the Weezer music video that's on the Windows 95 CD. I'm hoping.
As good as the what was it? There was the Friends video when Windows 95 came out.
It was the Jennifer Aniston and
oh gosh,
Matthew.
Well, whoever plays Chandler.
Yeah.
What's his name? I can't remember.
No, it wasn't Chandler. It was the other guy.
I'm pretty sure it was the guy who played.
It wasn't Joey.
No, it wasn't Joey. Let me see.
Oh, Chandler. Yeah, Chandler. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But massively smaller. Yeah.
Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I at least got half the actor's name.
Yeah, you got it. You got it halfway.
Right. Anyway. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Logitech.
That's right. Logitech and Herman Miller coming together. Herman
Launch
Miller.
A chair.
Yes.
$1,500 gaming chair.
So people who are not familiar with Herman Miller, they make pretty much the high-end office chairs. And I myself am actually have my ass sitting on one right now, and I can attest to their comfiness and the ability to sit on them for great amounts of time without your legs going numb. Mm-hmm. So I highly endorse a Herman Miller chair if you can afford it, but they are not cheap. But Logitech and Herman Miller are coming together to crank out a gaming chair.
Yes.
And I think it looks pretty sweet, actually.
I think it does too. $1,500 sweet?
No, I don't think. I mean, the only reason I have my Herman Miller is because I stole it from the office.
Right.
When our office closed down, so I took it home with me. But this one looks really nice. If there's anything, if I had a spare $1,500 sitting around, I would definitely pick this one up. I do kind of like the mad scientist tubing look on the back.
Yes.
With the exposed blue. Yeah. Very nice looking.
Yeah, I kind of like that Matrix-esque,
Yeah.
plug going into the back of your neck.
Yeah.
I've always liked that look.
Yep. Yeah. You need a little down your spinal cord. Yeah.
Can you fly a helicopter? Not yet.
They just need like some actuators in these things so the chair vibrates too while you're sitting in there.
Right.
That's then that'll make the $1,500 worth it.
Yep. Fully customizable seat, including bolstering, spine adjustment, height, angle.
Yeah.
Everything.
Everything you can think of tweaking.
Yeah.
You can tweak. And on top of chairs, I think Herman Miller and Logitech are joining to do some desks too.
Yeah.
Apparently. So, but those are not. I guess those haven't cranked out yet. Probably going to be just as expensive as the chair, I bet.
I bet they are as well.
Yeah. Anything that Herman Miller cranks out is not cheap.
Right. So yeah, it definitely looks good. Like,
yeah, it looks good.
But over your standard $500 to $700 Herman Miller, you know, I'm having some reservations.
Yeah, no, I would too. This is not going to be your impulse buy. This is going to be people who have money that also like gaming. Right. But we'll see where the market sits. Let's see where it goes. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if we get to go see one in action, I'll go sit on it and see if my ass explodes from just the comfort.
Right. We'll leave that one alone. All right, we got a couple rapid fire beer news.
Yes, we do.
So much to the delight of ByteMyBits.
Yeah.
Comes Bud Light Strawberry Lemonade.
Yes.
Yes. Only available in Canada, thank God.
For the people who want to be manly and drink beer, but are too scared to just drink beer, we got Bud Light Lemonade, Bud Light Orange, and Bud Light Lime.
Gosh, I was watching an Elisha Schlesinger stand-up routine yesterday.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite jokes was, can we cancel the whole hard seltzer craze?
Yeah.
Like it's not rocket science because you poured liquor into a LaCroix.
Yeah, I know, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, one of the other YouTubers I like, one of the cocktail YouTubers I like watching.
Uh-huh.
That's exactly what he did. He's like, there's a big hard seltzer craze, and it's like you're just like taking a LaCroix.
Was that cocktail chemistry?
Yeah, it's cocktail chemistry guy.
Yeah.
And so he tried to make the pumpkin spice hard cider. Which I'm like, all right, dude, that's cool. But yeah, that's literally what it is. You just take a low calorie seltzer drink and add vodka to it. That's basically it. And you try to get it under about 90 calories, and you're pretty much set. I guess pouring vodka into your LaCroix is too much work, so you got to buy a White Claw.
Yep. So yeah, Bud Light Strawberry Lemonade, joining the likes of Bud Light Orange, Bud Light Lemonade, and all the other monstrosities that they possibly come out with.
Right. Apparently, I guess, though, it's not going to be readily available right away. Right. I think, what did they say? Oh, here we go. Unfortunately for ByteMyBits, he's probably going to be sad about this. Yep. It's primarily sold in Canada.
It's only sold in Canada.
Okay, so he's going to have to find some Canadian friends to get him that sweet, sweet Bud Light lemonade.
Right.
That's haunting his dreams.
Yep. And not to be outdone, Busch has come out with a light apple.
Yeah. Which, okay, it's probably just apple flavoring, but an apple cider beer is technically a graph. It's called a graph.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I think this is just Bud Light Orange with
But if Busch called it
flavor,
a graph, could they ever sell it?
No, of course not. But I doubt that there's real apple juice in here. It's probably artificial apple flavoring. And at this point, this is just like mixing your hard cider with a little bit of beer.
With a little bit of Busch Light.
With a little bit of Busch Light, which in itself is not very tasty to begin with.
Right.
So, again, not something I'm super thrilled about, but...
Yeah, what's really funny is in John's taste test, like, Busch was part of that. Yeah. And I think everyone rated Busch either 4th or 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
as being absolutely flavorless.
Right. It's the one that everyone agreed belonged at the bottom.
The most interesting thing about that video, I don't know if anybody saw that video. but John did a beer tasting video with domestics to see which one was the best.
Domestic lagers versus
Domestic lagers.
the cheapest craft beer, which is the 10-barrel pub beer, which is a lager made by a craft company.
Yeah. And I thought for sure, because I saw the lineup, and I thought for sure that Heineken would just stand out like a sore thumb. Because that was one of the beers that they put in there. Right. And I always thought that it had a very distinct taste, but no one else could pick it out.
That surprised the heck out of me, because I've had a Heineken before, and it's like, ooh, wow.
Yeah,
I know I'm drinking a Heineken.
Yeah, I know this. Unless they changed the formula since the last, couple years since I had a Heineken.
Right.
I would have figured that everybody was like, oh, yeah, that's a Heineken. But no, they had a hard time picking that out. So I'm like, yeah.
And I'm not shocked that a couple people picked out Banquet. I'm not shocked by that, because it's a little distinct as well. Yeah. Not necessarily in a good way, but you know you're drinking a Banquet beer.
Yeah.
But between Bud Light and Budweiser and Busch, I figured that'd be a toss up.
Yeah.
Between those two.
But everyone thought the Busch tasted like just close to water.
Right.
Which is, I guess fairly accurate, right?
Right.
But I don't know. I'm not super thrilled about Busch Light Apple. But I guess they felt that they had to get into that flavored beer market that everybody's just going crazy for. So I don't know if they're competing with hard cider or if they're competing with beer drinkers.
I don't know who they're competing with.
I don't know.
I don't think they know either.
Yeah, but again, this is another one that's going to be only available in some states. I guess North Dakota, South Dakota. This doesn't strike me as a North Dakota, South Dakota beer. Nebraska, Kansas, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, Utah, and Florida. So, yeah.
It's an interesting distribution network.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like
these are the states who we think will eat this up.
Yeah, I know. Well, when the first couple of states they listed, I'm like, really? Maybe? I don't know. And then they said New York. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was totally on board with okay, every state you've mentioned, I could see that selling.
Them drinking that. Yeah.
Then you said New York, Arizona, Florida, and I went, what?
Yeah, I know. Or even Texas, because you don't have what's the big beer in Texas? They everybody always drinks. I forget. Oh, I don't know. What did Hank Hill always drink? It was Alamo beer. That's a fictional beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Lone Star beer? Is that a beer?
I don't know. All right. Tell me about AI brewed beer, Steve.
I can't. This is I didn't read up on this one. This is the one I did not read up on. I had to skip this one because I was running out of time. I think I briefly kind of skimmed it, and what the deal is it's supposed to be you answer a series of questions, and this is a Japanese company here, and it's from NEC, by the way. Yeah, it's from NEC, by the way. And it's supposed to tell you what the ideal beer is for you. Okay. And I guess they have a series of beers, and it's mainly based on your age. So they have this is what's in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s, your 50s, you would probably like this. But because it's a Japanese beer, I don't think it's really geared for the American markets. Right, Western tastes. Yeah. Yeah. Because anybody, in their 30s and 40s would be like, oh yeah, I love IPAs, But then you get in your 50s and be like, I just want a lager, that's the age group around here. Yep. But I think they're saying that the 50 somethings in Japan would go more for a malty or red. Type of a thing, which I don't know if that's necessarily true here or not. Yeah. So I mean, it's obviously cultural, but an interesting concept nonetheless. Yep. So my funny story related to beer. So my neighbor across the street, he's I think 58, 59, something like that. So he's a welder. And a diesel mechanic rather, but he has a welder. Mm-hmm. Well, my chair legs
both broke on me. Both my Gamdius chairs, the wheels came out because they had just tack welded the wheels in place.
Yeah.
And on my tile floor, they just gave up the ghost. So I said, hey, can you weld these back in and weld all around and make them, sound again? And he goes, yeah, I can probably do that for you. And so he knocks it out less than an hour for me. It's like, dude, thank you. And I said, what kind of beer do you drink? He goes, anything. Oh, and when you hear anything from someone who's 58, 59, 60 years old,
you're pretty much like, okay, you want a Bud.
You want a Bud, Busch, Coors, something like that. And so I went into my fridge and I'm reaching around and I'm like, I don't have. Not only do I not have a single lager at all, I don't have a Pilsner. I don't have this or that. And then I went, you know what? I think I have a decent Irish red.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And
malty.
It was a multi Irish red, but it was an Irish red IPA. And so it was a maltier, hoppier kind of beer. And I said,
like Dawn of the Red, something.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't Dawn of the Red, but it was of that same
something
ilk.
of it. Yeah.
I don't even remember what it was, but I remember having it one day, and I went, "This is just solid." And it's not a complicated beer. It's got like 2 or 3 flavors to it, is all. And you can drink it warm, you can drink it cold, you can drink it whatever. And I went, "This is a good beer.
This is a good one." Yeah.
And so I went, "Well, I don't speak like anything language, but here," and so I gave him a beer. And he really, really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
Coming from like a just give me anything to
it's like, oh, I've never had this before. It's pretty good.
That was pretty solid, right?
For people who are like normal beer drinkers who just drink like domestic, you don't want to start them out on an IPA because they're gonna be like, this is disgusting. I don't know why you guys drink this. They're gonna hate it right away.
Right.
You gotta start them out like you said, like a malty red. Or a porter, not even a stout, because sometimes stouts are they're a little too.
Stouts are a little intense as well when you get into,
sometimes,
especially once you get up above that 9% mark.
Yeah,
you start getting some barrel notes in there at the 11, 12%.
Yeah. You gotta start them out like a nice malty red, a nice malty porter, or a Maibach. Like Dead Guy is a great beginner craft beer.
Yep.
Because it's not too different from a lager, but it's got some really good malty notes to it.
Correct. Dead Guy, Fat Tire.
People like Fat Tire.
Great entry levels to craft beer.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of New Belgium. They use that biscuit malt all the time that I'm not super thrilled about. Although I did have that 1985 Voodoo series. That one's pretty good. Actually, that's not bad at all.
I haven't had that one yet.
It's good. Yeah. I'm not a huge New Belgian fan, but that one's definitely worth picking up.
Right. Nice. All right. A little bit of gaming news.
A little bit.
So what's the latest you can think of that you've ever gotten an update for a game?
Man, it's for something really old that just all of a sudden updated.
That all of a sudden, like, here's a new update you can download. And not only like a patch or a bug fix or something like that broke it on a new operating system. Because I've had that, like, a Windows XP game all of a sudden broke inside of Windows 10, and they say, oh, it's the installer that's the problem. Here's a new installer exe.
I know that there's been a huge batch of like updates to get some old Windows Live games. They removed the patch like that.
Right. Fallout 3 got an update last year to remove Windows Live integration, and so did GTA 4. GTA 4 just got re-released a couple months ago without Windows Live integrated.
Yeah.
And I mean, those are games from 2008, 2009.
Yeah, so that's a pretty old game that just recently got an update.
Right, that are 11, 12 years old.
Yeah.
But that's usually about as far as it goes. And that's even a very rare circumstance.
And usually if there's something past that, they just do a remastered version.
Right.
Get another cash grab out of it.
I bet you've never seen 21 years for an original release.
No, not 21 years or original release, not at all. Right. I mean, not an official release. I know that there's like fan patches that people put out.
Fan patches.
There's those out there.
There's the cracked LucasArts installer that you can install any LucasArts game, and it replaces the 16-bit install exe. Yeah, there's stuff like that, but official from the source release for a 21-year-old game.
Yeah.
Worms Armageddon just had a not only massive update, but also new features added to the game by Team 17.
Yeah.
So the game originally released for Windows 98 First Edition has just been updated with new features, and you can download the patch today.
And I think it's still one of my favorite Worms games.
Oh, absolutely.
Worms Armageddon is my favorite. And there's been several after that are okay, but for some reason I always go back to Worms Armageddon.
I go back and forth between Armageddon and Worms 2.
Yeah.
Those are my two favorites.
Worms 2 is older, obviously.
Yeah.
Worms Armageddon started getting into the good multiplayer features, the more diverse weaponry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The Worms started to get more character to them and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun playing those games.
Oh, you know I went with the angry Scots voices.
Oh, yeah. Or I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna get you. Yeah. That was my voice back. Yeah. I loved that. But yeah, technical enhancements, technical patches, game fixes.
Yeah.
370 bug fixes, 45 changes, and 61 new features in all. Yeah. I mean, this was not a small update like, hey, it works on Windows 10 now. This was a little bit of modernization on the game.
Yeah. And completely free, so if you already owned it.
Yeah. Apparently it fixed wine compatibility as well, so it runs great in Proton. People are saying in chat.
Yeah, that's good. Because it is a popular game.
Yep.
In fact, I think I played it a couple months ago. I just played it with somebody.
I played Worms World Party. Not long ago, yeah.
No, I played Armageddon.
Yeah. I need to fire Armageddon back up.
Yeah.
I think my daughter would love that one.
Probably. I mean, yeah, it's a good little kid game too because it's an easy concept to remember. Yeah. It's got some silly things to it, right? You get super sheep that launches across, and they got cute little voices.
Oh,
that's fun. Yeah. So
holy hand grenade.
Yeah, exactly. So it's got easy to learn. Even little kids can play it, but hard to master that even adults like playing it. So
right. Great game, and available on Good Old Games if you feel the need. So go give them some support.
I believe I have it on Steam. I think
I have it on both.
Okay. I know. I can't keep track of it.
What, Steve? What?
Yeah. Come on now. Let me see. Armageddon. Arma 2. Arma. Okay. Oh yeah. No. That's Worms Armageddon. There it is.
Yeah. All right. Let me
still
check.
Installed. Yeah, patch is now live.
Oh, come on, Steam, open up.
You know what they really should do, because like the nice thing about Worms Armageddon 2 was one of the first ones they've released where you can make your own maps. You can put your own background maps and stuff like that.
Sorry, I don't have Armageddon on Good Old Games. I have Worms 2 and Worms World Party.
Oh, okay.
On Good Old Games, and I have Armageddon on Steam.
Okay, all right.
So that was close. Close. I think I got the Worms pack on Steam.
I think I might have gotten that too because I think I have quite a few Worms games. And Armageddon, Blast, Crazy Golf, Pinball.
Yeah, I've got Armageddon, Crazy Golf, Pinball,
WB.
Reloaded Revolution, Ultimate Mayhem. Yeah.
Yeah. WB.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, probably. I probably got that back.
Yeah. Sounds like a Team 17 variety pack.
Yeah. Probably.
All right. Let's see. Oh, can I not see the picture? Okay, there are pictures of it. Good. Speaking of 2020, and man, correct me if I'm wrong, is this July the longest year on record?
July is a month, but it does feel like a year.
It's kind of what I meant.
Yeah. It seems to just eke by. Like June went by like this.
Right.
July seems to be dragging on.
There was a Reddit post yesterday about let me jumpstart August, and it was someone holding a gremlin under a sink.
I think I saw that one.
Had a mogwai underwater. Yeah.
Let's just get this over with.
Just get it going.
Yep.
Because what's next? I mean, we've already been through murder hornets.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of wanted more murder in my Hornets, actually. I didn't get that much murder.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that ended without the bang that I expected.
Yeah, there was no...
Where the heck are they? That was a letdown of a crisis.
Yeah.
Anyway, so a lot of people are kind of feeling the same way, and they're just wanting the simulation to end.
Right.
Well, apparently in Los Angeles, you might be able to have the controls to do that, as people are taking park refuse bins and converting them into holodeck control panels.
The LCARs. Computer and simulation, please. Basically.
Dang it. Where'd it go?
There was a picture. Oh, there it is.
Okay. No, there it is. So let's see if I can zoom in on this.
The holodeck control settings.
Yeah. So they printed out some LCARS decals and they're slapping them onto trash cans around Los Angeles. Which I think is just wonderful.
That's pretty funny.
And someone else found one somewhere else. But yeah, they're just printing them out and slapping them onto to garbage cans.
Yep.
And I think I'm not alone in just saying, can we just end this year? Can we just make this one be over? Computer end program, please.
You just got to start yourself a nice coma-inducing service. To be like, right. I'll put you in a coma right now, and New Year's 2021, I'll wake you back up. You'll be fine. You just start a whole new year. You just forget this ever happened. There's like a reset button for you.
Where did Fry fall into cryogenic sleep? What company was that?
What company?
Yeah.
I'm sure it was so generic, like Cryotech or something like that. I don't remember.
Cryotech or Cryogenesis Labs. Or...
Yeah, something like that. I mean, they only had like 3 or 4 episodes around it, so you'd think it'd be memorable, but I guess it's not.
Cryogenic Labs? Well, Cryogenic Labs is actually a company.
Okay.
Yeah. Applied Cryogenics.
I
was close.
Yeah.
I had it with Cryogenics. I was that close.
Applied Cryogenics. Yeah, I got it right here too.
Yeah. Man, if they started up, I'd seriously consider it.
Just a little cryogenic nap.
Just take me to 2022.
Yeah, talk me out for a bit.
Is DDR5 out yet? Put me back in.
Mm-hmm. You can just periodically re-release your old videos just to keep the channel going.
Is Intel on 7 nanometer yet?
There you just talk about Intel chips, and then you just like dub over the same specs over and over and over again.
Yeah. Just pull up Wikipedia and look at Intel's page and see if there's anything below 14.
Yeah, there you go. 14 plus.
Yep. And last but not least, some breaking news as of today. That Kathleen Kennedy of Lucasfilm, a la Disney, has left Lucasfilm to join J.J. Abrams' production company, Bad Robot.
Now, this is to be fair, this is rumored.
Very much rumored.
Very much rumored.
Right. But 2 very big rumors. Kathleen Kennedy has reportedly left Lucasfilm to join J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot production company as one of his directors. Or producers or what have you. And reportedly, George Lucas himself will be rejoining Lucasfilm. Yep.
The rumor is that he'll be helming the next 3 Star Wars movies.
Right.
Rumored. When you find the guy's name who reported on this rumor, it kind of does not make you have that much confidence in the validity of the rumor, but a lot of places are reporting that this is a thing, so it could actually be a thing.
This would be big news, and so I don't... Oh, that's kind of nowhere. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't fault people for saying someone is saying this. That said, it's single source at this point. I have not seen dual sources cited anywhere.
Right.
The only sources I've seen is this other website said this one source said it.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of a story that's spreading like wildfire and spreading rather quickly with, well, some guy on Twitter with like 13 followers said that George Lucas is coming back and Kathleen Kennedy quit.
Well, okay, to be fair, the person who is reporting it was the same guy who leaked the plot to The Last Jedi, or the Skywalker.
Yeah,
and he was correct. Yeah, he was the Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, and he was correct.
Right.
All the leaks that he had ended up panning out.
Right.
So there's a little bit of validity to this because of that. But he could just be riding on the coattails of his first win. So who knows?
Could be. But what do you think about George Lucas coming back to Star Wars?
Okay. There was a bit of chat on this on the Discord, and there's a.
I will say, he has a 50% record, which is better than anyone else at the helm.
That's true. But I agree with this kind of sentiment that he does best when he's not surrounded by yes men. Just like, oh yeah, George, that's great, George. Yeah,
it's a great idea. Of course, we should have an animated R2-D2 that flies.
Genius, George, genius. No, he needs someone to reel
Jar
him
Jar's
in.
not racist at all.
His best work is when he collabed with other editors and other directors. Spielberg, yes, that's his best work right there. When he's reeled in.
George is a phenomenal writer and not a great visionary as far as what translates from the pen and paper to on screen.
Right. Yeah.
He has beautiful visions in his head of the world that he wants to be, but he's the visionary that needs to hand it to someone else to make it a reality.
Right.
And for years, he surrounded himself with that kind of talent. The problem is when the sequels came around, or the prequels came around, excuse me, in the 90s, and the reimagined Star Wars, he could do no wrong. And so everyone around him was like, oh, yes, George, that's a phenomenal idea. Why didn't we think of that the first time around? Oh, we should totally re-release the Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, of course.
In Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't Han have shot first?
Yeah. I know.
So all these, so he writes a great story. He has a great imagination for the universe.
Yeah.
But he also needs to hand it off to creatives to actually develop that story into something that can make a screenplay.
Right. And that's kind of why I think if he does take over the helm, I don't think he'll be taking too much of a lead in this. He's getting up there. He's like, what, 70 something now?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. So it would probably behoove him
to just American Graffiti. I think that's how old you need to put it.
And American Graffiti was a great movie. It
was a great movie.
I loved it. Harrison Ford was in there.
Right.
But he's probably getting up there. He probably will delegate a lot more, I would think. And maybe not micromanage as much.
Right.
I would hope.
George Lucas is one of those people that if he could get out of his own way and understand he's not the smartest person in the room when it comes to every aspect, he can work wonders.
Oh yeah.
But he needs someone who is also great, like a Spielberg, or put J.J. Abrams beside him and see what kind of magic can come out of that.
Well, I would like more like Jon Favreau, who did The Mandalorian, which I thought was excellent.
Yes.
The Mandalorian is probably my favorite series in the last couple of years.
Right.
It was entertaining. It had that great sci-fi punch to it, but it felt relatable and stuff like that. Good characters. Just excellent. Right. So if
practical
effects, yeah, something that looked it was the first time it felt like Star Wars in a long time.
Right.
It was when I watched The Mandalorian.
Right. Rogue One is the one that did that for me, and Mandalorian is in the ilk of Rogue One as far as I'm concerned.
I have to go back to Rogue One because when I watched it the first time, I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't.
Have you watched it a second time since?
I haven't.
Okay. I would go back to it with a little bit of an open mind.
Yeah.
Because it relied a lot more on practical effects.
Mm-hmm.
It is much more. It reminds me a lot more of the original trilogy than anything else ever has.
Okay.
And it was better choreographed than the original trilogy was, and better effects without relying completely on CGI to make C-3PO fall into a smelter.
Right.
And that kind of crap. I loved it.
Okay. The thing that turned me off the most about
the characters were great.
Well, that was the thing I was telling you. Is like right away, and I understand it's a standalone movie, and they immediately threw in a ton of characters at you.
Mm-hmm.
that didn't give you much time for character development and didn't give you much time to really care about them. And before the movie even started, I already knew they were all going to die, right? Because you know what the story's about,
right?
So you're like,
many Bothans died to bring us this information. Mon
exactly.
Mothma says it in the
very first movie. Yes,
video.
So you knew this is the story behind her phrase, right. How they got the plans of the Death Star. That's what the movie's about. And so like, I'm like, okay, I know these characters are going to die, but like immediately I just don't care about them.
Right.
And so it kind of turned me off to the whole rest of the movie. And to be honest, I think I fell asleep in the middle of it the first time I watched it. Second time I kind of like half-heartedly watched it. So maybe I have to go back through and sit down and actually concentrate and watch it. I might like it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But
I will say it's kind of slow. It reminds me a lot of Empire in that there's some little bit more drawn out than there needs to be, a little bit more character development. And I'm one who really likes character development. I want to see people grow and evolve. But when you only have 2.5 hours to develop 9 characters,
I understand. And that's the thing. That's what makes it very hard. Is they throw in a lot of characters at once. And you only have so much time to do it. The audience, they can't. They're not going to sit through a 4-hour Star Wars movie. I mean, maybe they might if it's an extended version.
And yeah, you're right. Many Bothans died was from Return of the Jedi in reference to the Death Star 2 with Mon Mothma, doing the thing with Admiral Akbar. You're right. I quoted the wrong movie. The point remains the same.
Right. It was but yeah, no, that's where the origin of it came from. But yeah, I'll go back and watch it again. Yeah. I mean, it's got some actors in there I really like. So I just couldn't get into it when I first watched it. So it kind of turned me off to the whole thing.
No, I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we're in agreement. I would appreciate George Lucas back in the fold of Star Wars, so long as he is not in charge of it entirely.
Yeah,
and that it's not just a bunch of people blowing smoke up his ass again. Because the prequels, they told a good story. Overall, the prequels told a good story.
The dialogue was horrible. The acting was horrible. Well, I mean,
the acting was horrible and wooden. The dialogue was even worse.
Yeah.
But that's what George was asking of the actors.
Yes.
And so you can't place all of that. But if you look at the story and how it unfolded, it's not a bad story.
He tried to get, like, just from Phantom Menace, he tried to get really in-depth and political and stuff. Like he was showing some kind of movements of stuff was going on and how it all happened. And I kind of appreciate it, but I got lost in the weeds quite a bit. I mean,
there's like 4 or 5 layers, especially when you look at like Attack of the Clones.
Right.
Of deception going on.
Well, one of my favorite things about... Okay, so let me ask you this question. Phantom Menace.
Uh-huh.
Who was the protagonist in Phantom Menace?
On the outset, you would probably say Darth Maul, but I think you have to say we don't know.
Darth Maul was the protagonist? No. He's the antagonist. The protagonist.
Protagonist.
Yes, the protagonist.
The problem, it really doesn't
so like
happen.
the first Star Wars, immediately Luke Skywalker is the protagonist. He shows up right after the opening thing. Luke Skywalker is the protagonist. Is it Qui-Gon? Is it Obi-Wan? But Obi-Wan doesn't do much in that movie. And is it Anakin? But he doesn't show up until
if you had to call someone, it would be Qui-Gon, because the story either follows Qui-Gon, he's one of the first lines that you see.
Yeah.
Negotiations will be short, my young Padawan, etc., etc.
Yeah.
It's either scenes with him, or it's scenes with, Padme and the Resistance until they meet up and get together, and then it's Qui-Gon. So I guess it's Qui-Gon. But he's not a very developed protagonist, and he dies at the end, obviously. So I mean, like,
I know what you're saying, where he has this overarching story that he wants to see, but as individual movies, it doesn't really work that great.
Right.
And he does. He trips over himself trying to get into the details of everything too much, and just loses everything else. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe Jar Jar Binks was the protagonist. I don't know.
No, he's the ultimate antagonist.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I think I remember seeing some kind of article.
I so wanted Darth Jar Jar.
I wanted this. I think there was some kind of either
Misa back.
It was a video or something like that where someone was trying to suss out that Jar Jar was the real evil in the whole series or something like that.
Yeah, that came out a couple years ago. That Jar Jar was actually the Emperor.
Yeah. That would make it much more interesting, actually. I'd probably like that a lot more. I would have more appreciation to the prequels if that's what actually happened. Yeah, Darth Jar Jar. Yeah.
Baby Greedo.
Yeah. Yeah. They should have like maybe season 2 of The Mandalorian, they'll have a play date with Baby Greedo and Baby Yoda.
Yeah. Yep, that'd be great.
And baby Yoda will poop first? I don't know. Whatever babies do first. Yeah.
All right. It is 10 after the hour. I think that's going to do it for the show.
It is.
This beer did not get any worse at all.
No, I know. And I'm surprised. We usually get through 3. We only got through 2.
I know.
They kind of sipped it slow.
This one's a sipper. This one's very much a sipper. This is not one you slam down. This is not one you drink quickly or gulp. This is very much the flavors are very, very rich. Like I said, it's cardamom and German esters and a little bit of cinnamon and vanilla, all on top of like a really good malty base. Yeah.
So in my check-in, because I went and looked at my check-in for Untapped, I said it tasted like bubblegum. Like it had a really good like bubblegummy flavor. Yeah.
I can kind of see that. I'm getting more of the cardamom, but I think that's because I use cardamom bitters in mixing quite a bit.
Oh, there you go. So you really pick it out.
And so I really am able to just, grab that out of the weeds. But no, I can totally see bubblegum.
Yeah. But delicious.
Anyway.
All right.
This has been a great show.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Thank you guys so much for joining us here on episode 142 of Talking Heads every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer and tech news. Follow me on Twitter at CraftComputing. Follow Steve for the Alliance. You really need to read all the follow Steve for that I put down in the descriptions.
The only thing you could probably consistently follow me on is my Steam account, probably.
Yep. El Polo Diablo, it says it right above him.
Yeah.
That's where you'll find him.
Yeah.
If you like what we do and you want to become a part of it, think about joining the Patreon. Link is down in the video description below. It gets you exclusive access to the Discord server for as little as $1 a month. Where else can you hang out with myself and everyone else on Talking Heads?
Yep, that's right.
Even Tom Lawrence is on my Discord.
Yeah, he's there. He pops his head in once in a while.
Yep. So
yeah, the Patreon's great.
It's a good time, ever growing. I think we just crossed 300 members in the Discord, and man, it's a great community.
Yes,
and I'm not just saying that; it's genuinely a great community.
And we do tend to have like after the stream, we tend to have like a little after party on there, little chat, a little informal discussion. It's always fun.
Join the Patreon. We'll be in video chat in the after show on the Discord, but you have to be a member of the Patreon to get in there. And it's first 25 come, first 25 serve. Because Discord still hasn't upped the video chat limits yet. So we did do a Discord-wide Zoom meeting one time, though. That was kind of fun.
That was crazy.
Anyway, if you're thinking about joining that, check the link down in the video description. Thank you all so much for watching every week, as you always do. And we'll see you in the next video.
See you guys.
Cheers, all.